Welcome here to Midnight Motorsports, running 65 laps at Daytona. Guys have been out here practicing for a little while. We had a little server mess up, but we've got it straightened around now. Everybody's out here turning some great laps as we're seeing. Joining me in the booth tonight, Roger Wagner. Welcome, Roger. Glad to have you, buddy.
Glad to be back, buddy. Looking forward to this.
65 laps here at Daytona. Now, I know all too familiar to us, these guys running these super speedways. What do you expect out here tonight out of these guys tonight, Roger?
Man, I expect the same thing I've been seeing all week. A lot of 2x2 racing, a lot of passing, a lot of lead changes. This is a good bunch, too. I mean, we haven't seen a bad bunch. Just everything super speedways this week, and I'm toning it out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, Daytona's out. Yeah, good job. All right, well, coming down here to about the last 30 seconds of practice, and we're going to see the guys go out here and try to get some good qualifying times down. A couple new members in the group here tonight, Mike Ellis and Sean Butler, and new guys in the group. Not sure if there's any other new ones in there, but
drivers that are familiar to us on a regular basis.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely new guys that we're familiar with. All right, well, looks like practice is over, and we'll be taken to the qualifying order here in just a minute. All right, we're going to pop up the qualifying order and wait for these guys to get out here and turn some serious laps out here. Now, Roger, we practiced, and seemed like the track was really hooked up tonight. A little bit of wind on the track, I noticed.
Yeah, that wind's blowing in the bottom of turns 1 and 2 there, so right in the middle you're going to wash just a little bit. It can affect, especially if you get bumped at the wrong time in the center of the corner, and you can push all the way around here. It's not difficult. The guy in front's got to run one line, and the guy behind just has to anticipate the corner entries. But if you get a bump in the wrong place, you become disconnected right there, right when the wind's really on you. It can move both trucks around. It can definitely move the truck in the back around. It's not enough. 67% humidity tonight. The track's not going to be that slick. There's a ton of grip here. This place is really good. We're going to see a lot of tandem racing tonight. You can push for a couple laps here still, so we may see some breakaways, but if guys will line up 3, 4, 5 trucks deep, they can run down a pack.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, yeah, hold on a minute.
But you didn't. Anyway, they're in qualifying now. Man, I'm gonna say 47.6. Probably gonna take this pole.
47.6? You mean 48?
Yeah. No, I think you can get 47.6. I can get 47.8.
Okay.
And I think I've seen some guys pull 7s. I think you can get a 6 here.
Okay. I just don't keep up on all them times and stuff because so many tracks, they vary in time and yeah, you're probably right because they're already coming in with 48.2s on their first lap, so you're probably right. 47.7 maybe 47.8.
Yeah, 6s and 7s. 47.6, 47.7 is going to be your pole, and I'm going to say probably 47.62 or something like that's going to be your pole.
All right, well, a lot of good drivers out here. Now, this is the season ender, from what I'm understanding, and we do have points that I believe Rick Walker is pretty much. I guess he's got to finish 10th or better to lock up the championship here tonight.
Yeah, I think he was out by about 35 points on these guys. So basically, he just needs to start and not finish last. He needs to finish, I don't know, eight positions better than last place, no matter what Perry Snelson does. 47.67 right now on the pole.
Mm-hmm. Almost identical times are between White and Decker.
Yeah.
672 and 673. Wow, that's pretty fast. Sean Butler.
Couple of 701s.
Yeah, and Costa. Absolute exact time 701. So some great times out here. For a good qualifying setup out here. A 47.7 is. I mean, that's a pretty fast time for a good qualifying setup.
Yeah, they'll be cooking in the rain. You got a bunch of these guys. The top 12 are inside the sevens. So I was off by about 500. About 23 guys tonight, it looks like.
Yeah, we got a
Pretty good field.
Pretty good sized field. Yeah, there's with all that server mix up there and everything, I think we might have lost a couple of guys on this, but the server jumbling around here until we got this figured out. But hopefully everybody did show up here, and this being the last race of the season, and it does kind of make it where everybody does kind of want to show up. They want to see how this thing's going to shake out.
Plus the super speedways bring everybody out because it's an easy way to get a win for some. All you gotta do is draft, be in the right place at the right time. So it usually brings everybody back to the table. I know this is their season finale, and I think we're going to take next week off. And then the week after that, they're going to start again at Pocono. So that'll be exciting because everybody's been spending a lot of time working setups for that. I've been practicing with these guys, working on setups with them, and a bunch of these guys have been showing up to the practices. So everybody's prepping real big for the beginning of next season.
All right, getting down here, we're going to head right down trackside here. Craig White on the pole here with a 47.671 in the number 3. Harold Decker on the outside of him in the number 14. And we're going to kind of wait a couple more minutes here. We've got plenty of time as these guys finish up their gridding, making sure they've got the race set up in, not their qualifying setup like I did earlier. And here it was, I was kind of doing it in a hurry, and I forgot to click apply. I thought I'd put the race setup in, and here I had the qualifying setup in. So I was like third fastest out on the field, but then after we got racing out there a little bit more, a couple guys come up, passed me up. I think it was you and somebody else. And I just tucked up under your bumper, and I could hang right onto the back of you with no help from behind. So...
Big field. This is good. I mean, and these guys they haven't had big fields like this for a while, but steadily over the last 3-4 weeks, their fields have been getting bigger and bigger. They're getting a lot more drivers, and they're getting a lot of quality drivers. So,
yeah,
it's really helping them out. It's good to see.
All right, Sean Butler here starting in the 088. On the outside of him, in the 4th position, going to be the number 6 of Mike Costa. In 5th, the 95 of Mike Ellis, new member here tonight. Starting on the outside of him is going to be the 62 of Michael D'Amico. In 7th, the 77 of Danny McCune. You say it, Danny McCune.
Danny McCune
I
Jr.
can't say it like that. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize, Danny. In the 8th spot, the number 32 of Brent Keith. In 9th, the 07 of Brandon Thomas. Rick Walker in the 68, starting 10th. Roger?
We'll have David Lowe in the 55, starting 11th. Mike Vining in the number 19 will be starting on his outside in the 12th position. The 44 of Jason Sizelove will be starting 13th, with Perry Snelson in the 12-14. Stephen Pearson in the number 83 will be starting in the 15th spot. In the 16th, William Toney in the 87 truck. The number 20 of Sam Henry starts 17th. Timothy McFarland in the 33 truck starts 18th. Danny Alt in the 37 19th, and in the 20th starting spot, number 88 of Mike Gray.
All right, taking up the rear of the field here, Frank Reese in the number 34, and Patrick Rowland in the number 23.
And Patrick's having mechanical issues, so he didn't get to take a qualifying lap, and he's trying to basically fix this on the fly, his wheel is really acting up, and so he's having to really kind of, I guess, suck it up, Buttercup, and try to race with bad equipment. So I think he chose to take a provisional starting spot just in case he has a mechanical failure and he has to get out of the way real quick.
All right, well, Roger, they're coming around here to get this thing rolling. You want to get, and I don't mean Patrick rolling. Get
Truck's rolling down the front stretch?
Yeah, your truck's getting ready to start this thing off, so you want to call it down for me, buddy?
You betcha. It's the last Daytona of the week for us. Yay!
Yay!
We've seen some really good racing. I don't really mean to be down on it. I'm tired of seeing the same track all week.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see something different. Martinsville or, even Michigan.
Now we're going to get to see some Pocono in the open sessions.
Yeah.
And the official races, so that'll be nice. I really love that place. All right, well, we're coming down here to the line. Craig White and Harold Decker are going to bring us to the green flag, and we're going to start this 65 lapper for Midnight Motorsports. Pace car is on pit road. And the green flag's in the air, and we are underway. Ooh, big jump. Caution is out.
What?
Caution quickly.
How did that happen? Where did the caution come from? I didn't see anybody wreck.
That was a race control caution. I'm not sure. I'm not hearing radio chatter right now.
That's not a good sign.
I'm trying to get with race control. Rudy, I'm going to have to go back and look and see what happened.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. I showed somebody rear-ended Rick Walker, but, on that start. Excuse me. All right, these guys.
I think we have, and I don't want to say it's a rule infraction, but it's a rule infraction. I think what happened was some guys qualified for pit stall position, and then before the field rolled off, they all moved over and let a bunch of people go so they could go to the back of the field to start the race. And I think it caused a bunch of confusion. And so I think in order to get everybody lined back up, they threw a caution right when the green dropped, just so that it wouldn't get things mixed up, because guys were thinking they were getting black flags and everything else.
Okay. Well, I guess that kind of makes sense. All right, well, Craig White's still leading them around here. Coming to the line, going to complete lap number 2. Had the caution fly there just before the green, or just after the green flag flew, before they got to turn 1. Kind of unfortunate here to wait to start the race out, but got to get things sorted out amongst these guys to make sure nobody gets any black flags unintentionally or anything like that. So hopefully they'll get it all figured out, and we're going to go back to green flag racing here in just a minute.
Yeah, well, like I said, it was a minor rules deal there. Some guys didn't know that was the rule, that you had to start in your starting position, I think, and I'm sure at super speedways it's a good strategy to go ahead and drop to the back and then try to avoid all the stuff and make your run late or whatever. But here they got a rule against it, and the guys didn't know it, and so now I think they're squaring that all up.
All right, good deal.
So our start at Daytona for the final race of the week, very auspicious, I will say.
Mm-hmm. But I did see a little bit of checking up there right at the beginning, and it looked like Rick Walker did take a little tailgate damage. I was going to go back and take a look at his truck here. Make sure he doesn't have any tail. Yeah, he's got some pretty serious tailgate damage on that thing.
Yeah, I think he was trying to type in, and I think he, he couldn't do all of it at once, so he got capped in the back because the guys behind him didn't know what he was doing. So they'll fix that. They get a reset. They'll fix that. I think next season they're taking that out, Rudy. I don't think they're going to have resets next season.
Yeah, that's what Rick was saying earlier today when I was talking to him. He said these guys better suck it up because next season, no resets. And I think that's what we're doing in our league also. No resets. I think it's going to become the new trend to try to tighten this racing up a little bit. I mean, the guys get a little bit careless out there, knowing they got a reset. They stick that nose in sometimes where they probably shouldn't, and it does cost them. And maybe maybe it won't take them out, but it might take somebody else out of the race, and nobody wants to get taken out of the race.
Yeah, and I think it allows you to kind of be a little reckless and be a little, more aggressive than you would normally. You won't show as much patience because all of you have a reset. And if there's a problem, you can say sorry, and everybody gets reset, and you go on about your business.
Mm-hmm.
Never been a believer in it.
But in the reset, you never been a believer in the resets, you mean?
No, I've never been a believer in the resets. I believe that if you're trying to simulate real racing, you don't get a reset when you go on a real track.
No, sir. Well, you make a mistake and those fenders are damaged. Guess what? You're out there going to race that whole race, or you're going to sit on pit road and get it fixed up.
Yeah.
Well, some of the other rules that we've been maybe talking about incorporating into that is having a safe speed that you must maintain out on the track. Like on a track like this here, if you can't even get up to 170 mile an hour, you're just going to be a hindrance onto the track around all the other guys that that are coming around. You might try to keep it up high, but if they're coming around too wide and it makes it 3 wide, it can get a little hairy and a little squirrely for some people. And that you're gonna create a hindrance around the track. So if you can't maintain that a certain race speed, then we may just ask you to park it. That's something that we've been kind of kicking around in our league.
Well, NASCAR's rule is if you can't maintain 90% of whatever the fastest lap is for each lap, then you have to go in. You're done. They'll black flag you. You get one chance to fix it, and then you can return. And if you still can't manage to run 90% of the time, and around here that's going to be about a 46-second lap. So make it a 50-second, 51-second lap. If you can't run 50 seconds, 50.5, 51.0, then you're going to be asked to go in and get all your damage fixed, and then you're going to get one more chance to come out. And if you can't reach that speed or that time, then you're going to be black flagged and sent to the garage. So I think it's a good rule, and man, am I confused about what they're doing right now.
I don't understand what they're doing.
I'm wondering if they were all maybe trapped because they didn't go the rest of the way around. When that came out, they had already taken the green cross to start finishing, so it meant they needed to go around, but they all stopped in turn 3. And I think the pace car waited for them, and they didn't come around, and then they let it by, and so basically they were all a lap down to the pace car, which is hard to do.
Well, that's going to, by the time they get around here, the pace car is going to be around, and they're going to go green. Not everybody's going to be caught up to the field.
Well, what's really weird is that Sam Henry in 20th place didn't go around the pace car. He's going to, I don't know what's going on here. This is going to be a mess again. This whole night has gone sideways for this group.
I guess so, man. It's just been one thing after another for poor Rick and Patrick and the whole crew out here.
They're going to let the green go, but they are not going to start this event right here. They're not going to run. They're going to line up, and then they're going to go. As soon as the back of the field catches around, which Sam Henry's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, because according to iRacing here, Craig White's still the leader. Sam Henry is going to be at the tail end of the lead lap, just ahead of the
Yeah,
leader.
it shows him that.
He did not go around?
No, he did not.
Well, he's just going to put himself a lap down then.
Yeah, this is an interesting and auspicious start to this race, to say the least, right now.
Now he's going to go. But I believe.
Yeah, he's taking off to go around. It looks like to get it right here. So.
Well, everybody's going to have to get doubled back up here, and caution is thrown again.
Yeah, they want to get this lined up right. We're going to be on about lap 10 before we actually get any racing in.
Dang.
It's going to help a bunch of this with fuel mileage.
Yeah, 'cause they'll definitely be able to make it on one pit stop easily. I mean, you know, that's a given. Tires, well, they do have a rule, and I heard Rick tell about the rule, and I don't recall exactly right now what it was. Something about the if you stop, you've got to take right side tires. Something.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have to take tires in your pit box because the glitch in iRacing, if you have a reset, will allow you to real quickly exit.
Yeah.
And then jump back into race. It'll change all 4 tires, fill you up with fuel, fix all your damage. And it's like a 2.5 second pit stop.
Yeah.
Where other guys that don't know about it will sit there and at least change 2 tires, and it's a 7 or 8 second pit stop, and it's an unfair advantage. So they eliminate the advantage, and make you sit in your box, because who knows, anything can happen. You could almost slide through your box, back up, and still get in and out faster by hitting the escape button and rejoining than you could by hitting your marks perfect, changing 2 tires, and driving out. So they've eliminated the possibility and made the whole thing a lot more fair.
And we seen that a couple of weeks ago. I don't recall where it was.
Indy.
Yeah, but I don't remember what group did it, but
This group at Indy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Somebody,
and I brought it up to
yeah.
the admins, and that's when they changed it, because I saw that and I thought, man, that's a crazily unfair advantage for people who don't know about it.
Looks like Patrick Rowland does get a wave by, so he'll be, I think, 1 lap down.
I think they're going to put him back on the lead lap.
Well, this thing ever going to get underway here?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I apologize. I just wanted to make sure I got this out here to the guys. I apologize for not broadcasting this up to Twitch, but with modem issues, I was dropping like 90% frames. So this works out pretty good. I'll upload it to YouTube right after this, and I guarantee you it'll be in every bit as good, if not better quality, because broadcasting it to my computer does have its advantages. You're not using as much bandwidth, and being as I'm kind of limited to my upload speed, my download speed's great. It's the upload speed, and but uploading it may take a little bit. Probably about an hour to upload it, and then give it about another hour, and it'll switch it into HD, and it'll be great to watch. And I can't wait to watch this later on, because you know, I've kind of changed a few things. I've upped the FPS a little bit, and see if that may help. I can only do it when I'm broadcasting to my computer until I change my processor and upgrade some equipment. But that's the advantage of broadcasting it to your computer. You can actually up the FPS on the broadcast. So hopefully it'll be a lot better quality, and it's going to be HD quality actually. Alright, hopefully they got this thing all sorted out now, because the lights probably this time when they cross the line are going to go out, and we may get one lap to go here to get the green flag and get this thing rocking and rolling again. And you're going to be right.
Maybe we'll be finally on green, and we'll finally be about ready to go on about lap 10, I think, right?
Yeah, you're going to be right. It's going to be about lap 10 when they get the green flag. Yeah, that kind of knocked the laps down, but you know, still 55 laps is a long ways to go.
Yeah, and they're actually going to open pit road, I think. Yeah, boy, now we got all kinds of people complaining about everything. Yeah, this has been a very rough night for the Midnight Motorsports guys already at the beginning. I hope the rest of the race straightens out for them and we get to have a great broadcast here.
Absolutely.
Two to go here, it looks like, maybe.
Looks like Danny McCoon come down on pit road.
And Patrick Rowland, Brandon Thomas. I think Perry Snelson came down. David Lowe came down.
All right.
They all want to top that fuel off, I think. You know, they've been out here, they've run 10 laps.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's been under caution, you're still using fuel, so it'll separate, you know, when we go to green flag pit stops, if we get them, it'll separate the field quite a bit, because 5, 6, 7 of these guys will be able to run an extra 6, 7 laps.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, everybody still has to make 2 stops. Doesn't matter. At least, I think so. Now, everybody still has to make 1 more stop.
Yeah, 1 more
But it'll separate the field. Plus, on the last stop, you get to take a shorter fuel load, and it's a shorter stop.
Yep.
That could be the difference. I'm back here looking at these guys that are rolling up at the back of the field. Sam Henry, Patrick Rowland, Sam Henry, and then we get to Danny McCune, Brandon Thomas, Perry Snelson, David Lowe. I think that might have been it that went in. I don't think Frank Reese went in. I think I followed him around past pit road the last time. So.
All right. Well, looks like we make
Mike Ellis looks like he's taking his truck off the track for some reason. And Mike Vining as well.
I'm not sure Mike Vining even turned a lap. Yeah, I think you're right. Mike Ellis looks like he is taking his behind the wall. All right, everybody doubling up here. Lights off on the pace car. And Roger, we're going to get this thing rolling here once again, and hopefully they've got all the kinks worked out here, and these guys are ready to turn some green flag laps for pretty much the first time tonight. Already 9 laps down.
Yeah, we're going to be starting lap 11.
Yeah.
Before we got our first real green lap in. Yeah, that'll be interesting now. Gonna get to see these guys go green, see what everybody's got, see who can do what. The guys go in and top off one more time. Wow. Looks like Thomas and McCune catching back up again here. They went back in again.
Not a bad call.
No, not like this. It's not. I mean, you can make the whole race on tires. That's easy to do. Fuel. Now they're down into having to only put in maybe 6, 7, 8 gallons on that last stop to make it the rest of the way if they can run the whole thing green. These other guys are going to have to stop and fill all the way up, so that might separate things a little bit. Alright, well, about ready to go again here. Pace car ducked off. At the rough side drag, the green flag has flown, and we are underway once again. He didn't get as big a jump this time. Craig White didn't jump out as far as he did last time. He's got Decker pushing right on his bumper already.
Sean Butler there in fourth, ducks it down to the low line, right in behind the number 6 of Mike Costa. Everybody's starting to get single file here. Michael D'Amico right behind Sean Butler.
Got size love behind him.
Rick Walker in there. And these guys all, everybody trying to find a partner here. It's a little early to be partnering up, but you don't want to wait too long to be looking for a partner. And if you lose your partner, you're going to be SOL.
Well, you can be the guy that's the odd man out in the group for sure. It really does pay to get hooked up with somebody early. Try to stay with that guy as long as you can. I mean, if there's a mistake made, then obviously you got to go away with it. But you try to do that as quick as you can. You try to stay with them as long as you can. I'm looking back through here, and it looks like 9th and 10th is McFarland and Pearson have teamed up. But right behind him, Brent Keith, no partner. Sizelove got shuffled way back. He's got tons of damage on the left rear corner of that truck already.
See that. I don't know what happened. Could you go back and see if you can figure out what happened there? Yeah, he's got a ton of damage on the back end of that. Been something maybe on the restart, or I don't know. But we've got quite a bunch of trucks back in behind him. These guys have not caught up here. Brandon Thomas, Mike Gray, Danny McCune.
I don't know how that didn't bring out a caution. That was a big wreck.
Danny all the way back in 15th. Perry Snelson clear back here at 16th, all by himself, nobody to draft with. Now
David Lowe's out.
David Lowe's out.
He's done. His truck is destroyed.
Oh no, what happened?
He was part of the deal with Sizelove. Looked like Frank Reese bumped the apron, got a little loose, collected low collected Sizelove. They got in the wall. It was at the very back of the field, and the caution did not fly.
Dang. Well, that's pretty nuts. Looks like we've got about 4 guys that are way off of the pace back here. Let's get back up to the front because I don't want to leave these leaders. These guys, looks like Sean Butler and Michael D'Amico may be making a run on the high side.
Yeah, they're trying to get there. They got a good run on the 4.
Yes, they did. Great run coming to the line. Well, let's see if Sean's got a pretty good chunk on him there, and Sean does lead that lap. Michael D'Amico now just pushing the crap out of him.
They may clear on the backstretch. May.
They're going to have to get a very good run. He's going to have to stay on that bumper. Well, I'm going to tell you what. These guys are coming pretty fast on this low line here. And they're not going to clear them just yet. Decker says, no way, you're not getting in there just yet. They're kind of falling back just a little. I think they kind of Michael might have overheated that truck just a little bit.
Yeah, they couldn't switch out there. It's really hard to switch when you're too wide. You got to do it on a straightaway, or you got to really be good to do it in corners. It's really hard to switch. If you start getting hot, you either got to back off or pull away or do something. And I think now he's going to pull down.
All right, well, Rick Walker running in third now. Our points leader, and could sew up this championship here tonight. If he can just kind of, I guess if he can finish this thing up in the top 10 is going to be the secret here tonight. Or, I don't know, the points, he's 35-point lead, so anything can happen.
We've got several trucks laps down now. Danny Hall, Sam Henry, Frank Reese, David Lowe, Patrick Rowland. I think Rowland has had a major malfunction in his wheel, and I think he's done. I got one, Danny J. Alt, off on the back stretch.
Sean Butler back out, led another lap. Boy, Craig White just so strong on this low line. But Sean and Michael do duck it back down into the low line, and that's where they might want to just ride it out for a little bit. Sean did get up there and lead a couple of laps, and I believe they get points for leading laps, don't they?
Yes, they do. Oh, and a big drift up by McFarland, and he just punts Walker into the outside wall.
So Walker, you can find him.
That hurt Costa too. Because Costa got in the back of him when he hit the wall.
Lost a little bit of momentum, but I think they're going to get back up here. They haven't completely lost the draft yet.
No, but they're going to have to work real hard to get back to that group.
Well, it looks like everybody's back out on the track now except for Danny Alt.
Yeah, Danny's taking his behind the wall. And I know Mike Vining parked his for the night too. I don't know what happened to his truck, but he parked his as well. We're going to try to chase him down and get an answer to that question as soon as I can find him.
All right, well, let's get back up here. Michael D'Amico now pushing on the back bumper. Sean Butler again, them two still trying to get something going on that high side. If they just had a couple more guys up there to work with them, they might be able to make that work, but Craig White and Harold Decker, they're just way too strong on that low line. And this track here, you know, the low line is kind of protected a little bit. It is the fastest way around the track, so, you know, you got to kind of think about that.
Yeah, but if you get a good partner, you can make a good run on the high side. I mean, against 4 or 5 cars, you got to have 3 or 4 guys. And it's hard to do. And this front group here is a 7-truck battle. And I don't want to be the guy at the back ever on this one, because you could slip and fall off the draft here and never get back to it because everybody behind you is already paired
Rudy.
up.
Who's yelling at me? Who's yelling at me?
Rudy, can you hear me?
I don't have anybody yelling at you,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, I can hear you, Michael.
Can you move me and Sean to a private channel?
It looks like Walker and Kosher are actually trying to close a little bit of this gap, but then they got separated, and now they're probably going to lose a little more time. But we got to watch these two back here, Danny McCune and Brandon Thomas, Rudy, because they have closed about 2/10 every lap, a whole 20 seconds back, and closing.
Yeah, they're on a mission right now to get caught back up to this field. Sorry, I had to move a couple of guys in TeamSpeak there. Apologize for that delay.
Yeah, this is a couple of the guys that had the rule issue to start the race, and I think there may be John with a little bit of fire right now.
All right, let's look ahead here from Mike Costa as they're getting caught right back up with this front group here. Roger, look at this. They have caught right back up to the back of that group.
Yep, they have pulled it right back in. They should have McFarland's draft now, so they should be able to pull right up there. They haven't switched spots. They haven't done anything. They've just been going. Pushing when they need to, cooling off when they can.
Yeah, Costa now out there trying to breathe a little air into that thing and get it cooled off. I'm sure he's really hot. He pushed the daylights out of Rick Walker to get him back up here. And now they're into the draft. So he gets that thing cooled off. He might be able to, they might be able to get something going and get on up by some of these guys maybe.
Yeah, they're working a lap traffic right now, this front nine. They got Sam Henry on the outside there working. And man, McFarland is all over the place.
Yeah, he's not holding a very good straight line, is he?
It's like he's crazy tight getting into the corner.
Riding on board here with Rick Walker on the roof cam and looking ahead to this crew up in the front. It looks like that's Sean Butler, Michael D'Amico trying to bid on the high side again.
Yeah, they got a good run too.
We're going to go up here to go up there and ride along with Sean Butler for a minute. Looking back on the field and see what kind of a job they're going to do here and what they can do with these Craig White and Harold Decker. I just don't, man, I'll tell you what, them two they've been nose to tail since the green flag, and I'm telling you what, man, them two are hooked up.
Yeah, they're pushing when they have to. Like when they get them a run on that outside and try to go, that's when Decker and White start really pushing on each other. They don't want anyone to get around, but then they try to separate it and get a little air in there and keep it cool so they don't have to do the switching. And it's actually been working for them pretty good.
Michael and Sean here do have a good run. They get a good run, like you said, on the straightaways, but Craig White and Harold Decker, boy, they really are strong on the inside on the turns.
It's funny watching them. They're doing exactly the opposite of whatever the guys outside were doing. The guys on the outside are pushing real hard down the straightaway, and they're just barely separating to get a little air in the nose of the 14. But then in the corners, when the two on the outside separate, that's when Decker pulls up there and he just shoves the back of Craig White, and it's really keeping them guys out front. But now Pearson and Tony have caught up to this group. There was a little gap there a couple laps ago. They're right back in the middle of this.
So pretty good battle going on up front here. Coming this time by, going to be completing lap 26, starting lap 27. So I believe, Roger, we're probably not too far off of seeing some of these leaders come down pit road, because they have not been on pit road yet.
Yeah, some of these guys up front are going to be about maybe 10, 11 laps away from starting to make green flag pit stops, if we stay green that long.
Yeah, we're looking at the top 9 have not pitted. And then back behind them, 12th, 13th, and 14th have not pitted either. Sizelove, Keith, and Gray have not pitted yet either.
So of the top 12, McEwen and Thomas are the only two that have...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they had that down to about 4 seconds a minute ago, and now they're at about 4.4 in the hold in the last couple laps. So their race to the front really has slowed. But it will change when all these guys go in and make pit stops. Those two probably will get to inherit the lead.
Michael D'Amico and Sean Butler coming up on the high side. And look at this run that they've got this time with Sean Butler pushing. Wow, man, they really had a full head of steam this time.
Yeah, they tried to push in the center of the corner right there, and they've been disconnected. And when Butler touched D'Amico, boy, it made him loose.
Yeah. And I've noticed that out there tonight when we were practicing, Roger, that, boy, if you just barely bumped the back end of that truck you were pushing, it really kind of got you both squirrely.
Yeah, the center of the corner is not where you want to reestablish your contact.
Right.
It really isn't. Man, they just can't get past those guys.
No, they're just way too strong on that.
And if Pearson could get to the back of Tony, they could push those guys back to 56. But Tony's got that draft in the truck in front, and Pearson's just not able to pull that slipstream enough to get him there. If he gets to this bumper here, the 62 and the 088 there will definitely go back to 56.
Well, let's go back through the field a little bit as these guys battle it out up in the front here. Well, let's go back to way back here in 7th place, Mike Costa. Those guys still have not pitted yet, but have lost that front draft again, and I don't know what happened, why they lost that draft.
Yeah, McFarland slowed for some reason, like he got nose damage. Costa already has nose damage, and Walker has damage on the back of the truck. So they're just, unless they can stay in the slipstream there, they're not going to be able to hang on. And they've been passed by McCune and Thomas, who are marching their way back to the front again.
Absolutely, yeah. And those two definitely on a mission now to try to get back up toward the front. They're off pit strategy.
Yeah, they're off pit sequence completely.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have guys up back here pit. Looks like the 6 and the 3 up front is going to pit. So I'm going to say the 3 and the 14 are coming.
Okay. We're going to get right on them and watch those as they get ready to come down pit road here. Maybe. We'll find out in just a minute.
I thought we'd see about 33 or 34 laps before we pitted, but it's going to happen right here.
Yep, they're coming down.
There you go. The 3 and the 14 go in. That's going to give the lead to D'Amico, or actually he's going to hold it.
Well, they're going to have to pit one more time then if they're pitting now, unless they're just
It's going to be close. I think they're short pitting.
Yeah, because I think you can get about 38 laps here on a tank of fuel.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 37 or 38 laps is a deep stretch on this. Yep. So.
All right, they come into their pit stall. We got a couple more coming in too. The number 6 there of
Costa.
Costa, yeah. All right, looks like fuel only, and they're away.
The leaders are in 3 and 4, mostly in 4 now. I won't be surprised if some of these guys duck off in the next couple of laps. The 88 truck's headed for pit road right now. Mike Gray.
Get back up here to Michael D'Amico and Sean Butler. These guys out here leading now. And we're going to watch them and see when they're going to come down pit road. It looks like the order has changed up here by Coyle a little bit. Rick Walker going a lap down right now. Looks like William Toney going to be in 3rd. And the number 67, or 87, I believe that is, 87.
Yes, sir.
And Stephen Pearson right behind him in the 83.
There's a former leader going a lap down right there. That was the 3 truck of Craig White. I believe the 14 is just ahead of these leaders. So all these guys are going to end up a lap down here. Right, just taking fuel.
Man, Michael D'Amico and Sean Butler still not pitting. So they're going to probably shoot for it here and maybe hope a caution comes out or what. I don't know. They're out here still running nose to tail and really putting down some good laps.
They're pitting this lap. The leaders are pitting.
All right. We're going to be right on them. I wonder if Toney and Pearson are going to pit with them.
I'm thinking no. They haven't announced anything. They haven't signaled anything. So.
Oh
Big
no.
Wreck.
I don't know what happened there.
Big wreck.
Wow. Michael getting taken out on that. Oh, no. I don't know. Let's go back. We're going to have to go back and take a look at this. That was, I don't know.
Got contact. He got contact. Butler swiped across the back of that truck. And he made just enough contact that it loosened up the 62 and he just couldn't hold it. Boom, right there.
But they were getting ready. They were communicating here, getting ready to come down pit road. And not sure exactly. Oh, Sean caught the back of Michael and set him off pace right there.
And here's what I know about doing these pit stops at high speed is that the guy in front always chooses the inside because he's out front and it's easier for him to get clear. That guy in the back, if he has to take that swipe across the back of the truck to get down to the inside going to pit road so that you don't run into each other, that can happen easily. So the guy in front always takes the inside, the guy on the out in the behind position always stays on the outside so he can just run one line. He doesn't have to try to miss anything.
Well, that's unfortunate for them guys because they, he can get on pit road and get it fixed back up. That's the good thing. And
yeah, they caught the 2 leaders that were trying to go around them, Toney and Pearson. Both of them trucks are just annihilated.
And it looks like Sean might have just drove right through pit road. I don't think he stopped at all because he did manage to stay out there and come in 3rd. So we're going to have.
And he's the guy with no damage.
Yeah. We're going to watch these guys as they come down pit road now. Sean coming down to his pit stall. Michael D'Amico looking for his, trying to make it down here. He does have a reset, so that'll be good for him. Can use that reset, and maybe him and Sean get back out here together.
I think Walker got a piece of that too, because he had used his reset, and now his truck's not reset.
All right, so a little bit of a mess up there. First caution of the night. We've had 12 lead changes so far.
So let's see if I got this right. Stephen Pearson came out first?
Yes, sir. Stephen Pearson will be our new leader.
William Tony's going to come out right behind that. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Sean Butler will be third. Brandon Thomas fourth. Michael D'Amico fifth, which will be good because him and Sean can get hooked back up. Danny McCoon in sixth. Brent Keith seventh. Jason Sizelove in eighth. We've had quite a few have taken their car behind pit road. Timothy McFarland, Sam Henry, Frank Reese, Patrick Rowland, Danny Alt, and Mike Ellis.
Yep, Mike Vining took his early.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Well, I got a report that he was not satisfied with a ruling during that initial start of this race, and he decided that it was best in everyone's best interest for him to go ahead and park the truck for the evening and not participate in the event.
Well, that's too bad, but I gotta. Rules are there for everybody, and everybody's got to follow them. Yeah,
and it just it got started bad. The whole night started off rough, and I'm sure that that this whole situation didn't help that situation. So
right.
They'll all work it out. And next season it'll be a lot better. You learn from the mistakes. You start getting bigger fields. You have issues. You learn how to deal with them, and then you go forward from there, and it grows into something really good. And I think these guys are going to have something really good here for a long time to come.
Well, the big losers on that was Harold Decker and Craig White that were up front there, and they got caught. And, coming off of pit road, and they're going to be starting at the tail end of the field.
That's exactly right. Mike Costa was one of those trucks too that got a lap down. Now he's at the tail end. Mm-hmm. Rick Walker appears maybe to be the lucky dog in this. I'm not sure about that. I think he was involved in the wreck, but he would be the lucky dog with McFarland taking his truck behind pit wall.
Right. McFarland is done for the day. David Lowe, we haven't really talked too much about David Lowe today. Here he is running in the 14th spot. He'll get his truck, he'll get a wave by. That'll put him one lap down after he does. Actually, he won't get the wave by. He'll get the iRacing wave by.
Yeah, they're on the end of the lead lap and be run past once we go 1 to green. But he had been in because he was in a big wreck early in the race. It didn't bring out a caution, and I'm looking at the right side of his truck, and the right front fender's mashed up just a little bit, and he's got some damage down the right side of that thing again.
Let's go down here. We'll take a look at it real close up. Yeah, a little bit of damage on it.
I'll tell you whose crew did some massive work and did a great job. That's Rick Walker's crew. The nose of that truck is beautiful, and the back end of that truck, you can barely tell it has damage now, and it was mangled up pretty good before you went on pit road. They did a lot of good work on pit road.
Yeah, David Lowe coming down on pit road now. All right, back up front here to Stephen Pearson. Lights are off on the pace car. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing.
Okay, so there will be no lucky dog.
Everybody gets doubled up. William Tony up on the high side. Sean Butler in third. Brandon Thomas fourth. Michael D'Amico rounding out the top 5. Danny McCoon 6th. Brent Keith 7th. Jason Sizlove 8th. Perry Snelson in 9th. Harold Decker back in 10th. And Craig White 11th. These guys at the tail end of the field. They are still coming around here, I believe, still trying to get caught up.
Yeah, I'm seeing the first of them come around. They're catching up to the back of the field behind Walker here. Now the race is going to be for the 13th position, really, because Walker and Lowe, should we get another caution, one of those two would be the lucky dog. Both be 1 lap down at this point. And the rest of the wave around cars are actually catching up to the back of the field as we go through turn 4 here, so everybody's going to be up here nice and tight in the bunch when we get ready to drop this green flag for you, ready.
All right, well, Roger, I'll call this one down. We're getting ready to, the pace car's going to duck off here in just a second. Pace car's off. Stephen Pearson brings him to the line, and green flag flies, and here we go, off and running again. Sean Butler right on the tail of him, Michael D'Amico right on his tail. The three of them get a great start coming out of the gate here. Going into turn 1, we've got a couple of challengers up on the high side, but I don't know, they're going to have to really work hard to get up there.
Yeah, that looks like that's going to be William Toney with by himself now, because Thomas and McEwen jumped into that bottom lane, and they're going to try to keep him hung out, pick up a couple spots, and then I guarantee you can see those two trucks try to work their way right back out to the front without helping anybody else if they can.
Sean Butler and Michael D'Amico going right to the high side to try to get a run to go by the 83 there of Stephen Pearson. They clear him and come down in front of them and take over them first 2 spots. They're getting awful racy out here.
And it looks like we're going to go single file right now. Pretty much everyone.
All right, Michael kind of backs off the back bumper just a touch here. Sean Butler getting a little air in that. They do have a pretty good lead over him, but now he tucks back up under it and pushes him some more. So, all right, going back here through the field. Well, let's get a rundown here real quick when everybody gets to the line. Michael D'Amico in second, right here in third. Now we've got Stephen Pearson kind of falling back a little bit as the 07 of Brandon Thomas and Danny McCoon just smoked by him.
Yeah, those 3 are team trucks, and those 2 here, the second and third, have been working together this entire race, and they were catching up this field before that caution. And they're on a mission. They want to go, and they want to go now.
Sean Butler and Michael D'Amico switch up in turn 1 and 2. And it looks like the 07 of Brandon Thomas and the 77 of Danny McCoon do get a good run, but they hit that wall of air and just can't get it to go anymore.
Well, McCoon got separated from the bumper of Thomas there before he could really finish that run with him, and they're going to go back to 6th now, because Pearson's right back in there.
Yep, Pearson gets right back up in the hunt here with William Toney pushing him. Those two get right back up under the backside here of Sean Butler, right where they want to ride it out for a little while here, because we're only on lap 41 here, Roger, and still got a lot of laps to go.
Oh yeah, and Keith and Sizlove have actually made themselves a presence in this mix too. They've caught back up to the back of the 87 truck there with Toney, and they're going to push McCoon and Thomas probably back to 7th and 8th if those two look to hook up. It doesn't look like they're having any luck staying hooked up right now.
Yeah, I'm showing we have 3 cautions, but technically we only had 1. 2 of them were thrown by the admins at the beginning there to get that mess straightened around, and they finally did. But technically we've only really had 1 caution, and that was when Michael D'Amico and Sean Butler were going to pit, and Sean caught the back end of Michael and spun him around. And that bringing out the actual first caution of the night. So These two really being strong here. It looks like Brandon Thomas and Stephen Pearson on that high side, though. Got a pretty good run that time. I'm sorry. Danny McCoon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, those two just can't stay hooked up together long enough to get clear. And I don't know if maybe because McCune has gotten the truck hot already and he can't get it to cool down or what it is. But obviously they can make the run. They just have to get it set up where they can push for more than a lap.
Well, that would be my guess. Probably, as hard as he's pushing, he may be overheating that truck a lot right now.
Well, these guys up here are going to be a pack of 10 again here just real quick because Decker and White are coming.
William Tony back here in 6th. In 7th, Brent Keith. 8th, Jason Sizelove finally getting up here. Started in 13th, finally getting up into it. Harold Decker and Craig Waite coming strong. And Mike Costa trying to hang on to their draft. Does not want to lose their draft. Doesn't have a partner to work with right at the moment.
The next closest truck to him is Snelson, and Snelson is another, 1 second back. And if he backed up and picked him up and they could push, whoa, we got action up front. William Tony way down low.
And it looks like he is way off of the track.
It looks like when he went down the corner, he caught the apron a little and it loosened that truck up. He did a good job of saving it. There was no contact there. It was just all the driver.
And
he's going to be out.
That's going to leave Stephen Pearson without a partner in the 83. Danny McCoon,
he's going to be in a bunch of trouble.
These guys they're ducking down to the inside. Look like Danny McCoon's going to maybe follow these leaders for a little bit, and his partner maybe get up in behind him. I think Danny McCoon was suffering from he was overheating. I really do think that.
Yeah, the bad position now to be is Pearson's in a real bad way. He doesn't have a partner. All these other guys have already established what they're doing. He's going to have to hang there and hope that one of these other guys goes with him when he makes his move and dumps his partner. And I seriously doubt that's going to happen. Well,
if him and Danny McCoon and Brandon Thomas all worked together and went to the high side, they could get a run and get by Sean Butler and Michael D'Amico. But they would all have to do it together, and now it looks like Danny McCoon ducks to the outside. Brandon Thomas going to push him. Let's see if they've got any stuff for our leaders up in the front.
Well, the leaders have all of a sudden got back together and they're pushing. They're just going to do what everyone's been doing. And as soon as they see guys making a run, then they'll start pushing real hard again. And they'll be able to hold on to that lead. It's just really hard to get by two trucks that are pushing hard unless somehow you can time it up when they're hot and they have to separate. Otherwise, you're fighting an uphill battle as two trucks on the outside with 7 trucks on the inside line. You're going backwards. It's just how it works.
And we've got what here, about a 8 or 9 car, about a 9-car battle right now. Everybody up into the mix, and this is pretty exciting. 19 laps to go now.
Yeah, everybody now is trying to get themselves set in a position where they know that they've got something for the end, and they're in a position to make that move when they need to. Otherwise, they're just going to ride.
Nobody needs to make any more pit stops, I believe. It looks like Sean ducking the front end of his truck out, trying to get a little air in that radiator right behind Michael D'Amico.
Good run on the outside here, coming off the corner, but if those two continue to push, by the time they get down to turn 1, D'Amico and Butler will hold this.
Looking ahead here from Stephen Pearson, he's right in the catbird seat, watching what's going on, not sure exactly what he's going to be able to do, not having a partner. Oh boy, this is going to be very tough for him. And he drives right up on the back bumper of Sean Butler.
He's got to stay in that hole. He can't move out and try to make a run. He can't do anything right now. Wow.
Woo. Sean ducked out there.
Down on the bottom. He went down on the apron, got passed on the high side because he went down there.
Who?
Brent Keith.
Oh,
he dropped off down onto that apron down the backstretch and got passed by about 3 trucks. He's still going back.
Steven had a fender up on the outside of Sean Butler when Sean was trying to get a little air in that radiator, but he knew what Sean was doing, so he just kind of kept that gap open for him and let him back in. And he wouldn't have had to do that, but that's good sportsmanship out there that these guys are showing. So. Looking ahead here from Craig White. Now Craig White and who is that right with him? Harold Decker. These guys right back up into the mix of things here. Nowhere to go right now, but coming down to the end of this thing, them two could be right up into the hunt.
Oh yeah, they're positioning themselves right now. They're trying to figure out how they're going to get rid of Pearson, which, if this continues the way it is, ain't going to take too much. They'll just need to hook back together, and they'll be able to go around Pearson on the outside and really not lose a whole lot of time. But they've also got Costa in there, so that's a 4-truck race as well. I mean, we got 10 trucks up here, so they're they can pair up 2 by 2, and all 10 trucks can stay in the hunt on this thing if they so choose to work with each other.
Well, this is going to be interesting. Coming to the line, going to be 15 to go, and it's going to be interesting coming down to the end of this thing, just to see where everybody, how they're going to position themselves to get up here. Looks like Harold Decker has teamed up with Stephen Pearson now and dumped off Craig White.
Interesting move, since White and Decker worked together pretty much the whole race until this moment.
Yeah.
But I think White knows he's got Costa, so he's not out of it, and I think Decker knows the same. And they're trying to keep this a big pack here, so that they can bring Costa maybe to Pearson and then split off and try to work together. I know we're seeing a lot of forward and backward motion here as well, side to side, but trucks running up on each other and then backing out, and then another truck will get a run, and by the time they get cleared or get a position, they've overheated and then they got to back off. And if it continues like this at the end of the race, I don't see anybody beat D'Amico and Butler.
Yeah, this could get to be a very, very interesting here coming down to the end of it. Sean Butler breathing the air in that radiator, much needed air to keep that thing cool. I think they figured out he's a little better out and behind pushing maybe than Michael was, but here they are. Looks like Brandon Thomas and Danny McCoon got a heck of a run on that outside.
Yeah, they're working hard now to try to clear. They just want to clear. That's what they want to do. They want to keep pushing and clear right here in this spot. Now that they've got that run, and if they can maintain this position coming off the corner, you really get a good drive down the straightaway. They've got a chance. The best place to get that run is from the exit of 2 to the entrance of 3, because you really get a great run coming down the hill right there, and you don't have that trial to worry about.
And I think right now what they're doing is Brandon Thomas and Danny McCoon are setting them up. They just tested their theory, and I think that would have been a really close, coming to the line, it would have been a really close 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think they're kind of testing them right now, but on the outside we've got a couple of newcomers up there, Stephen Pearson and Harold Decker.
These two have timed this well. They caught D'Amico and Butler not together. Oh, and if they could have stayed together, they would have got them. But they just couldn't stay hooked up. They caught them two so far apart that it took Butler a long time to catch back up. Now that he's caught back up, they'll never get by again unless they get more help.
Well, we've got 8 trucks side by side right now, and I'm telling you what, this is really getting intense for these guys. We've got a couple other joining into it. Craig White up on the high side, and the number 6 of Costa. Those two joining in with the high line. So if the 4 of them could get going, boy, Sean Butler is just pushing the daylights out of Michael D'Amico right now. Wow. He pushed him back out to the front and backed it off to get some air in that radiator to pull it off. It don't take long to heat these things up around here.
No, and then you got to back off and give room, and that's when these other guys need to just time it right. Start pushing right when you know they've got to separate, so that you've got your momentum when they have to break theirs. And so far, none of these guys have been able to time that just right there. They're not noticing that those two are separated like they are right here. Now start pushing, because he's got to stay back. He keeps looking to push right now.
Yep.
He's got to stay back off of him, but nobody else is pushing.
Yeah, but they've all gotten so hot because everybody's been pushing and nobody's been switching. So the guys that are pushing are getting very hot right now, and everybody's having to get a little air in them radiators. Stephen Pearson's still hanging on that high side. Him and Harold Decker and Craig White right there behind him, bringing Costa along. So, we've got a good battle going on here amongst all of these guys.
Now you got Keith and Sizlove on the bottom, and they're getting right up there close enough to McCune's back bumper. This is going to start getting to be a little bit better inside line than the outside line. Those four trucks on the outside are going to have to really get close together. And I don't know if Costa is able to hang on to the bumper of Craig White right now. Now, here we come into lap traffic. This is going to get exciting.
Get up here to the front and see how they're going to deal with Rick Walker going another lap down. He stayed high to let them all by. Good job. Very good.
Man, I thought they were going to catch him right on that exit. That's a real difficult place to be the very outside truck.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of have a tendency to bump that wall a little bit, and that can be very, very bad for anybody on the inside to get caught up in that. But still got a good battle here. Pearson fighting hard up on that high side. Him and Decker, man, I'm telling you, they're just relentless. They will not give up on that. And we're back to an 8-truck battle now up in the front. Looks like our 9th and 10th have fallen back just a little bit here. Sizlove and Costa.
Yeah, I think they gave a little room back there to White and Costa because of that lap truck, and it kind of hurt. And I thought I saw smoke just now.
You may have. These guys, as much as they're pushing right now, 8 laps
Costa
to go.
dropped way back. Him and White were making a run to get up to Decker's bumper, and then all of a sudden I thought I saw smoke, and Costa fell back, and now Sizlove and Keith are back in the middle of it.
All right, so yeah, this is going to be with Craig White not having somebody up there to push him. That could cost him a little bit of momentum here, but it looks like Costa's starting to reel him back in now. He might have been a little bit of a scary thing there he's seen with that smoke flying, and said, you know what, I got to back off just a touch.
Man, Decker is pushing on Pearson. They just can't get clear.
Yeah.
And Thomas is separated just a touch now, and they're not able to get in there and push. Those two don't get hooked back up, and we're coming down to 6 to go right here. So
yeah, I think Danny McCune might be just keeping that engine cool right now. Everybody keeping their engine cool, and I think they're playing it smart right now. I think this is what I would be doing right now. I'd be keeping that engine cool till it come down to 2 to go, and now I'm going to push you until the engine blows.
Well, if I'm Danny McCune, I want to stay back like that and get a little air. But what I don't want is I don't want Pearson and Decker on that outside, because with about 2 to go, we've got to have a gap where I can start shoving my partner and he can move to the outside and I can go with him. And I don't want to do it 3 wide because the other guy may not know, the guy on the outside may not know I'm doing it, and that could cause a problem. Now we're seeing the posturing. Here we go. Now we're seeing posturing. Everybody's starting to push up, and they're going to push Pearson and... wow, push Pearson out alone and push him to the back.
Yeah, Decker just kind of dumped him off and went to the low line. Let's see if he goes back up the line and picks him up here.
It may be because he's trying to cool off, but he got up so close to McCune, there's no way he's getting there. So that was his strategy. I don't know what that's going to do for him. I think he was trying to get back to White.
Well, all right, Pearson does duck it back down to the low line, and man, I'm telling you, look at this. Brandon Thomas, what did I say? Brandon Thomas up there in the front now. And Danny McCune saved that, kept them engines cool. And now they're challenging these leaders for the win.
Here's where you're going to know if it's going to work, right here.
This time By's going to be 4 to go.
And I don't think they're going to be able to stay and get by these guys. Butler got back to D'Amico's bumper just enough time to to keep on side-by-side down the back stretch. They'll get back out in front here unless McCune gets help from Decker and Pearson.
And he's going to probably start feeling a little bit of heat in that engine because he's been pushing Thomas for quite a bit now. He ducks it out to get a little air in that thing.
Decker and Pearson have chosen to get in the hole between the two.
Ooh.
I think we're going to see a 3-wide run here.
Man, I hope not, because then that's going to tear everybody up, and that's not going to make a good finish.
I think these guys are good enough to hold 3-wide, 3 deep.
I don't know. I see a lot of dancing around here by a few of these drivers, and Danny McCune and Brandon Thomas, if they can keep that thing down close to it, don't let that 3-wide happen. Because
they just keep separating in the corner. You cannot, when you're trying to make it run by, you cannot get separated for the whole lap. You got to stay on that guy's bumper the entire lap when you're on the outside to get clear. It just doesn't work if you don't stay connected. And McCune's not going to be able to stay connected. They got 3 to go here, and he's not going to be able to stay connected for 3 laps. That engine will let go.
Well, 3 to go. Coming down to the end of this thing, Michael Gray takes his car behind the pit wall. Another one out of the race, so 14 trucks out here racing for this right now. A couple of them well off the pace, couple of them a couple laps down. David Lowe and Rick Walker both 2 laps down, but still on the track.
Well, if Decker and Pearson can get where they have that hole that McCune and Thomas have, there was some contact there.
Pearson, boy, got really squirrely right there.
I'm sure that made McCune pucker just a little bit.
I think it did.
Well, if McCune cooled his truck off enough now, you just push it till it blows up. You don't have a choice. You've got to go. You ain't going to have another shot. You can't cool it back down and get another run. It's 2 to go. And it's just time to go. Nothing. You can't save anything.
That's right. I don't see anybody trying to. I don't believe Decker's going to try it 3-wide. I really don't believe that. I think that would be kind of silly if he did something like that.
Pearson out of line behind Decker and really lost a bunch of momentum. He opened up that 2-truck lane. He may get swallowed up here for the 5th spot.
All right, well, Brandon
here
Thomas,
we go, white flag.
Yeah, white flag is out. Sean Butler on the inside pushing Michael D'Amico. Who's going to get this top spot? They're bumping and banging. Oh, this isn't going to end up good. Just like we feared.
Got turned.
Oh, no.
No caution.
Well, it won't be, because they're, looks like Brandon Thomas is going to win this and Sean Butler's going to finish second.
No, this ain't over. Butler's going to have a run. Thomas is going to have to block hard.
Sean Butler going up on the high side. Can he make it stick? We've got a couple going for it. Here's Sean Butler. Oh, man. Coming to the line. They're bumping and banging. Oh, Brandon Thomas, I believe. Yep, Brandon Thomas.
By 3/1000.
Holy smokes, brother. I am telling you, what a finish. I think we got probably a couple of ticked off guys in that, and Michael D'Amico getting taken out. Oh, man.
I don't know what happened back there. I want to go back and look at what... I want to go back a lap, and I want to see what happened down that back stretch.
We're going to see if we can't get down here and get a word in here whenever they get done.
Well, there's going to be some guys that are upset about some touching, but everybody was moving around there.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. Was pretty nuts.
What a finish, Rudy.
Oh,
Man,
it
we've
sure
seen some
was.
extremely exciting stuff happen this week at Daytona in every series that we've had here, and tonight's no exception.
Yeah, it was definitely insane. I'm telling you, we've seen it all this week, Roger.
Oh yeah, we have. And I'll tell you who's a really happy guy right now is Brandon Thomas, and he's happy for a couple reasons. You got to win. But the other one is he debuted new paint tonight, and he really wanted to put that new paint on the podium.
Well, he did a great job with it. I'm telling you that. Looks good.
Wow, what a race.
Well, let me know when they're done down there, and we'll get down there and talk with these guys. And like to interview the top three, or I'll do first, you
I'm
do
working
second.
on getting in here, brother. I'm working on it.
All right.
All right, Rudy, let's fire up these interviews, see what these guys got to say about how exciting that finish was.
Brandon Thomas, this is Rudy Cummings in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, Rudy.
Sporting a new paint job out there. You think it brought you any luck tonight? Congratulations coming home for the win. Good job out there, Brandon.
Yeah, I didn't know what we was going to do to get by them guys. We tried the high side, I don't know how many laps, and just could not get them. I kept trying to stay on them tight and try to get the side draft and get by them. We just never could get all the way by them. I could get a nose by them, and then my partner would get hot. So I didn't know. It worked out, I guess.
Well, we've seen a lot of bumping and banging, which is to be expected. Everybody coming to the line. We had about 6 or 8 good trucks up there battling for this, and everybody wanted the win. You brought it home in first place by 3/1000ths of a second. Pretty amazing, brother. Beating out Sean by 3/1000ths of a second. I'd say you probably owe a big thank you to Danny McCoon for giving you that shove across the line. So, but anyhow, congratulations, Brandon. You got anybody you want to say thank you to?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to RPM Motorsports and X Factor Paints. I don't think the paint's dry on this truck yet. I got it a couple hours ago, so it's good to put it in victory lane first race.
Well, it's looking pretty good there, brother. Good paint job. Kind of going around here so everybody gets a chance to see it. Looks pretty good. And we'll give Roger over to second place there, Sean Butler. Roger.
Sean Butler, Roger Wagner in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Roger.
Well, man, this is your debut race over here with Midnight Motorsports, guys, and you bring it home second by, and it looks like a fingernail on the replay. An amazing finish by all you guys. I know you and Michael were working hard there, just pushing when you had to, getting air in it when you didn't, and those guys were really fighting hard on the outside. It was unfortunate your partner got into that a little bumping match down there in turn one. Kind of got to be expected here, fighting for the wins on the last lap. Did you guys just plan on staying the way you were and just pushing him home to the win, or were you going to be sneaky there and try to steal that thing?
There's way too many trucks around us to try to sneak out the win for myself. I was planning on pushing Michael right there all the way to the end. I was keeping it, like you said, just keeping it cool enough to hold off those charges on the outside, and man, we had it hooked up, and this wasn't meant to be. The 77 got down. I'm not sure if he wobbled a little bit or something, but he hit my partner, and I don't know how the heck 77 kept going, because it looked like they were all together, and I don't know how the heck I made it through it, and I almost had enough. If the 77 didn't come down to help out, I think I would have had that, but oh well. Good first race of these guys.
Well, we get to watch these guys week in, week out, and I know that there's a lot of really good drivers, and we get to see a lot of action over here. I'm sure you're going to enjoy yourself the more you race with these guys, but your first impressions overall, give us that.
Well, as you guys probably realize, a little bit of a rocky start, but once we got going, it was great racing, and everyone raced really clean, and great side-by-side racing, and just wish it could have started out a little cleaner. Other than that, it was a great time.
Well, man, congrats on the second place finish again, and man, is there anybody you want to give shout-outs to or say hello to?
Just want to thank these guys at Midnight Motorsports for letting me come over here and race with them, and thank you guys for doing the broadcast, and we'll check you out next weekend.
All right, man. Congrats again. And I think Rudy has Danny McCune.
Danny McCune, you got a copy? This is Rudy up in the booth.
10-4.
Danny, you rode there. Man, I'll tell you what, you and Brandon tried so many times up on that high side and just quite couldn't get it done. We seen you breathe in that truck a lot, having a little bit of difficulty staying on the back of Brandon a couple times coming out of the turns. Was the wind affecting that truck in any way, or was you having some other difficulties?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Normally, I can stay hooked to Brandon pretty good, but it seemed like tonight I struggled trying to shove him. We was a lot faster when he was shoving me for sure.
Well, you brought it home third, brother, and not a bad finish. You know, I know you probably couldn't have got by any of them guys to, you know, pull the win out tonight, but third's not bad. Congratulations on that. And do you think if you would have had another lap, you know, taking in consideration there was a little bumping and banging going on there, that maybe you guys might have been able to finish 1-2 or not?
There might have been a chance of it. Who knows how it had played out. Once me and Michael D'Amico got together, I was trying to get back to Brandon. I didn't even see the 14 underneath of me. So sorry about that, dude.
All right, Danny, well, great racing out there tonight. You guys put on a great show. Once everything got settled out and got going, it was a pretty good race. I was kind of looking at it. I believe there was only technically one caution in the race. We had 18 lead changes. So that's pretty amazing for not a huge field, but quite a few drivers out there tonight. But anyhow, congratulations, Danny, on your third place finish tonight. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody or a thank you?
Yeah, the Midnight Motorsports for letting us come over here and run, and Team RPM and Brandon for sticking with me.
All right, buddy. Good job out there, and congratulations again. All right, Roger, let's run down the results here real quick. Brandon Thomas coming home the winner, of course. Sean Butler in second. After that late tangle there, Danny McCune in third, Stephen Pearson fourth, Harold Decker finishing fifth, Mike Costa sixth, Brent Keith seventh, Jason Sizlove eighth, William Toney in ninth, Perry Snelson in 10th. Roger?
I'll finish in 11th tonight. Michael D'Amico, unfortunate, he was running there in the top 3 or 4 before all that happened, and when he got into that, he just couldn't come around and finish that last lap, but he had a great run tonight. His finish isn't indicative of his run. Craig White brought it home 12th, David Lowe 13th, Rick Walker 14th, Mike Gray 15th, Timothy McFarland came home 16th, Sam Henry 17th, Frank Reese came home 18th tonight. Patrick Rowland 19th with tons of technical issues, and I know he really wanted to run tonight and not have a bad race like that, but he ends up that just because of his technical issues. And then Danny Alt rounds out your top 20.
Yeah, and Mike Ellis, don't know exactly what happened with Mike there, but he took 21st here. So, yeah, but overall a pretty good race, Roger. Ricky, you got something you want to add here tonight?
Yeah, I just want to apologize to everyone involved that we had such a mess to begin with, and promise that it's not the way we normally run this league. Anyway, start in 2 weeks. We run at Pocono and start fresh.
Well, congrats on the championship, and I know we didn't interview you on track, but we're going to do it here. We know you pretty much wrapped that up just by starting the race, basically. Yeah, it's kind of been one of those long seasons, and everybody's had their ups and downs. And tonight, you know, the bumpy start, and it really wasn't as bumpy a finish. I know there was some action at the end there, but super speedway racing, guys close together. Everybody wants to try to win and tries to close that season off with a big win. Ultimately, you come out the overall winner in the whole thing. What are your thoughts on that, and what is the plan for going into the future here in 2 weeks when we go to Pocono?
Well, hopefully we continue with the bigger crowds, and it'll be a little tougher to win a championship. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, I think you've seen a big growth spurt, and you go through bumps and bruises when those things happen. And I know from experience, it's how you deal with them that will dictate the way the league goes from here on out. I think you guys handled that very well. I think when some guys don't necessarily remember all the rules, or they don't think that what they're going to do is going to affect anybody really big. If you just handle it diplomatically and get things back in order the way you guys did, and I know it was a rough start. It took about 10 laps to sort that all out. It actually shows everybody that you can be even-handed, you can be fair, you stick to your rules no matter who it is, no matter what situation, and guys can learn to respect that, and that's what keeps your racers around. And I want to commend you guys for have and doing the right things. Getting everybody squared away and then getting everybody to understand what you were doing. I wanted to commend you guys for it because I jumped on the radio as soon as it started happening. I didn't know what was going on and started listening to the conversations back and forth. And like I said, you guys handled that about as well as I think you could.
Yeah, without being able to stop the race, that was pretty tough to handle. So, but handle it as fair as we possibly could.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Ricky, on your championship. I know we're not making it as big a deal as it probably should be, or, you were probably hoping it could be. But, again, congratulations on your championship. Well deserved this season, buddy.
Well, thank you. It, like I say, this one wasn't as gratifying as some of the others. This one, there wasn't as many people competing for it. So, but I thank you very much.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. Any last-minute comments that you want to throw out there, Roger? Now's the time.
I'm looking forward to these guys jumping out next season and going to Pocono. I'm going to be disappointed that I'm not out there running with them. Pocono is one of my favorite places, and I really am good there. But I'm looking forward to watching these guys go. I know we got several guys in here that are pretty quick. We've had some practices. So seeing the new season start over with 0 points and these guys having these big 25 car fields, we're going to get to see some really, really good racing, and it's great to see Midnight Motorsports starting to grow. Hopefully they'll grow some more. One of these days maybe we'll have the 40 car fields, and that'll make it even more interesting. So tonight was a great race. It's good to see Brandon Thomas get him a win. It's great to see Rick win him a championship. I'm ready to take a week off, catch my breath, and start all over with these guys.
Absolutely. All right, well, I think it was a pretty good race myself. Congratulations again to Brandon Thomas bringing home, beating Sean Butler to the line by 3/1000ths of a second. And also congratulations to our season champion, Rick Walker. Congratulations, Rick, and great racing out here by everybody tonight. Good job by all the motorsports crew. A few new drivers on the track. Didn't seem to hinder it any. Seemed like a lot of good racing with everybody. So, all right, but we will see you in 2 weeks here for Midnight Motorsports. And thanks for tuning in here at MaxSpeedTV.